Irrespective of how much wealth, assets, and material possessions we may acquire for comfort in our life, the real wealth lies in our health. We have often heard this saying, but in the hustle and bustle of our lives, we have somewhere forgotten it. It has been noticed of late that the majority of our wellness-related problems are due to the wrong lifestyle. Crack the Wellness Code, or CWC as it is commonly known, has its origin in the health hero story of its founder, Mr. Naren Bakshi, a serial entrepreneur of Indian origin in Silicon Valley. He was able to reverse his lifestyle diseases like diabetes, sleep apnea, and obesity by making lifestyle corrections that were backed by ancient Vedic wisdom and Western scientific research. This led to the establishment of India Chapter in June 2020, with Wing Commander V.K. Kala leading the Indian operations. With full support from India Community Center and CWC Global in Silicon Valley. This received due adulation from the Honorable Chief Minister Mr. Ashok Gehlot and the then Health Minister of Rajasthan Dr. Raghu Sharma. The encouraging feedback led to the formation of the Indus Wellness Co Trust in April 2021 and finally registered as a Section 8 company under the Companies Act by the name My Crack the Wellness Code Foundation in July 2022. CWC has a dedicated full-time team, doctor patrons and volunteers with a total focus on wellness. The initiative has conducted more than 50 webinars on various dimensions of wellness such as physical, mental, emotional, and occupational wellness, and so on, with experts from around the globe, including Stanford and Harvard University. Our Wellness Resource Center was established at Mr. Naren Bakshi's ancestral property to run regular wellness activities such as wellness-based events, knowledge and yoga sessions, support group interactions, access to wellness library, and so on. It is located at a prominent commercial hub at Jaipur. Various eminent educational institutions, corporates, and other not-for-profit organizations are already associated with us to work together on spreading the wellness message. This foundation firmly believes that we must take care of our body and mind, as this is the place where we have to spend our entire life. Wellness means that to the extent possible, we should follow good habits in our life so that we remain healthy in all aspects and live our life to the fullest. Healthy mind and thoughts reside in a healthy body. And if we want to live a happy life, then we shouldn't ever let it fall sick. The goal of my CWC Foundation is to bring wellness to the lives of 50 lakh people in 5 years. And for this, our mantra is E, educate, I, inspire, E, empower, and I, impact. The Indian chapter of CWC, just like CWC Global, is committed to working on the reversal of lifestyle disorders related to heart, obesity, diabetes, cancer, and mental and behavioral health. Today, India is doing well in various sectors, but when it comes to Global Wellness Index, India ranks fairly low. It is high time that we Indians claim our rightful place in the Health and Wellness Index, and we are sure that we will make an impact there. So, let us all unite in join this cause of a better India, a wellness-oriented India.
Naren, you are not audible.
Am I audible, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So very good morning, all, and welcome to this nice Sunday morning. And great topic we have today with your expert, Dr. Varun, with us. And before introducing him, so just a little about the topic. So we all, some of us especially, are fitness enthusiasts. And for those who are fitness enthusiasts, for those who really want to work on wellness, always understand and agree that the physical exercises that we do go more than just the muscle deep. And we are having this expert who's a very dear friend now for us, Dr. Varun Pratap Singh. And Dr. Varun is a physiotherapist and he's MPT in orthopedics, MSc in osteopathy, and he has a career spanning of more than 12 years now. And he has been donning many hats. He's not just a physio, but he's also an ergonomics and posture specialist. He's a Pilates trainer, and that's why we have brought him here today. He's a corporate ergonomic trainer. He's an osteopath. He's a manual therapist, trigger point needling specialist, and shoulder specialist. He's also a former visiting consultant and physio at Accenture in Gurgaon as well as Noida. He completed his Masters of Physiotherapy from CCS University in 2011 and received his training at GB Pant Hospital, New Delhi. A fellow in osteopathy from Australia and a certified manual therapist in spinal manipulation techniques. And he's trained by Dr. Jeremy Lewis, who is one of the greatest shoulder experts we know from London Shoulder Clinic, and is certified as a tutor from there. He is a diploma in family health and education and also certificate in HIV and health education. And during his career of 12 years, he has developed many skills and expertise, which are so much beneficial for us. And he has been giving his services to so many corporates around also. So welcome a lot. Welcome so much. Thanks for gracing this occasion once again, Dr. Varun. And the forum is all yours. So Varun, to begin with, we all know physical fitness, we all know how important it is, and we get to know only once people get into a problem. So my question to you is that you've been doing some kind of training in Pilates also, and physio also, both kind of a mixed background that you have. What is your understanding of how Pilates makes a difference when we can get to know a little about Pilates, and then how it can be different or complement already doing, people who are already doing exercises?
A very warm welcome to all. Good morning to everyone, and thanks for joining us. So I would like to answer your question, sir, because we are very much aware of the part of human system, which is exercise. So we have got different set of patterns by which we do the exercises. Somebody does aerobics, somebody does normal exercise, somebody goes to a gym, yoga, Pilates, and, different sectors of exercises. So now I would like to introduce you with the concept of Pilates. So how it is different and how it is important that we can incorporate the same system in our normal daily routine. So when we are talking about the Pilates, so basically we combines our core. Core, basically we are concentrating upon like our abdominal muscles, our pelvic floor muscles, our diaphragm, and the back muscles. So that is creating a stability to our spine and the entire system. Moreover, the core has got all the organs enclosed in the same compartment. If we do not have the strength or the stability for our core, so then we are not able to have the strength in rest of the system or rest of the body. So in Pilates, we try to activate our core. That means the muscles surrounding it, which includes diaphragm, pelvic floor, and the anterior and posterior structures. So we activate that part, and then with conjunction with that activation, we do different set of exercises. So Pilates is different in this term, that core activation where a constant strengthening or constant contraction is needed for the stability of the spine and the structures around it. And then you do the exercises in conjunction with that exercises that help your entire system. Moreover, in Pilates, it happens with the yoga also, that we try to concentrate our brain while we are doing the exercises. In Pilates, along with the core activation, there is much more importance that we try to connect our brain with entire system. The exercises that you are doing, so you tell your brain that you are performing this movement, which will enable you to relax the rest of the part because you're concentrating towards one thing. Moreover, you are activating your core. When you activate your core and you tell your brain, so there is a rhythm which is matched and there is nothing else which is connected. So it will be effectively working on that specific part and that activation of core and then doing the exercises along with that will really help you a lot. And then whichever exercise you do after the activation of core will really make a difference to your life. So that is a basic explanation of Pilates.
So very interesting, Varun, because when I've been taking yoga sessions, and even my trainer would help us engage a lot. We would never know that this component could be coming from Pilates, because the person who's a yoga trainer could be already trained like you in Pilates also. And certain exercises in yoga does involve you to engage your core, engage your breath, engage your brain. So yoga is actually union of three: body, breath, and mind. So we always talk about it. But then, there are so many subtle differences which during this course of today's presentation we'll get to know from you. So who actually got this idea of starting something like Pilates? So can you just tell us a little about the background? How did it come to be? You're not audible. Varun, are you there? Somehow we lost your voice. Am I audible?
Yes, Sharad, you are audible. Varun is not audible.
Okay, I think his video is getting connected again.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Now.
Yes.
Yes, Varun. So did you get my question? Should I repeat?
So I think so. You asked who got the idea of Pilates, right?
Yeah.
So Joseph Pilates was the main person, the idea behind that, and the reason was also that he has suffered from many ailments which were physically related to him. So what happened, after the ailment he has suffered from, his body becomes so weak that he was not able to sustain the normal activities of daily living also. Then after when he getting this information that exercise is the only part which can help him out, so what he did, he get himself involved with many exercise part like in the world. He did one course on the exercises, the other course on the exercises, which has got different parts, including the yoga also. Then all of the combination he thought of to just combine a common idea and develop this technique which will work with different sectors of exercises, the basic exercise, the yoga, the aerobics, and everything that is to be combined together. And the main concept of core activation and the brain concentration is involved together. And then he formulated that this concept of Pilates was developed. And initially the people were very they were not very much interested in this course. But as soon as it became prominent and the people were liking it and they got the benefit of it, so slowly and gradually it has become and revolutionized in the whole world. And now you can see the every physiotherapy sector or in the world there are Pilates exercise sessions are happening all around the world. So it was Joseph Pilates who did his best and he developed this technique.
Okay, wonderful, excellent. The stories become similar when you get to hear something and someone invents a kind of a technique which, as rightly goes with the theme of our organization, crack the wellness code. So
yeah, definitely, Dr. Bakshi. So we have just similar things, suffered from something, then we invented something, and we are working together. So he did also the same. He suffered from a lot of ailments. Then he found something, he got the combination, he learned those things, and then he developed a new technique which is called as Pilates nowadays.
Yes. So my story also goes in similar way. So I combined so many other things along with my Surya Namaskar, which helped me strengthen my back, and I could recover from a lot of issues related to that. So that sounds really inspiring. So moving forward, Varun, so you had talked about, when we were last talking about it, you said that, it's an excellent way which builds strength and flexibility both. So can we focus on these two aspects specifically when we talk about Pilates?
Strength and
flexibility.
right, definitely. So what happens, when we are talking about when you do the general exercises in any form. So supposingly you are doing normal when you are in your school timing, so you are doing PT, or when you grow up, you go to a gym, or you do some different set of exercises. So what happens, in spite of doing those exercises on regular basis, so sometimes it happens that there is a persisting pain which happens to your body. Okay, or you might land up into a problem despite of doing the exercises regularly. You might have slipped disc, you might have some shoulder injury, you might have some back injury. The only reason behind that is because again and again we have to consider that our whole spine is the pillar, and that for that pillar strength we have to incorporate this Pilates concept, where the important role is pelvic floor. So we never do the pelvic floor strengthening exercise. Even somebody will teach you the pelvic floor. So it is a mind specific, or you can say in India, it is relevant to females only, that they have got some gynecological problem or urine related problem or something else. So they should be taught some Kegels exercises. But I'm so sorry to say this concept is wrong, and it is common for everybody. Pelvic floor muscles are common to males and females and children's, everybody. So the pelvic floor strength is very much important, which we ignore or we are not aware of it. Diaphragm is very common. We use it in yoga, that we do deep breathing, deep breathing, deep breathing. And definitely the third part comes is abdominal strengthening. Now again, it is misguided that the person who is going to the gym, they do abdominal crunches or strengthening of abs. But abdominal crunches involves a lot of muscles. But sometimes because the trainer is aware or might not be aware, so we have got different set of muscles around it. So supposingly your rectus abdominis, the muscle which is straight forward, like here in between. So you
Yes.
must be working more muscles rather than external or internal oblique muscles.
Yes.
So strengthening of every muscle around it. So it is very much important. So when we're talking about the strengthening of this and then back muscles, so when we try to engage these all muscles together, will create a strong strength around your core, which increases your flexibility. Till the time though your base of the foundation is not strong, which is where you sit, your lumbar region. So it is the most important component, because your flexibility of the whole spine, your neck problems, you think it is related to your neck because you're sitting in front of the computer or you're doing some other work. But the reality behind that is your core is weak. Your
Wow.
core is weak. So you find out when you talk about a palm tree, the base, the roots are strong. So it can go either way, left or right or anywhere in the direction, but it will not fall. But it opposite happens in human being. Our spine is weak. The body is very strong. So it will not leave you. You will not collapse, but you will try to, compensate for rest of the body. So your neck is easily involved. Your thoracic is easily involved. Your shoulder is easily involved, because our body has a tendency to save ourselves in any, environment. It will save. So your back will be saved. It will have a spasm, but rest of the body will overwork for the same. So if we increase the flexibility of the spine or the core activation, the strength of not only the core or lumbar region, the entire body will increase. Along with that, the flexibility of entire body. Because if you are having a weakness in your lumbar region, you would not believe that you might have some shoulder problems as well. You might have some chest pain, like here. You might have some neck pain over here. You might have some numbness in your face. Your eyes might get twitches. You might some feel like kind of migraine like things. But we think
Okay.
no, migraine is happening because the doctor has said it is migraine. But actually migraine is nothing. It is a constant pull of the muscle, because migraine does not have the explanation, but it is a constant pull of the muscle which is going from the mid back then lower back.
That's a very
So
important point that you are bringing up, Varun, and that puts a question to the impact that entire spine has, because it's a one whole pillar which is strengthening your entire body, and the impact on the cranial muscles could be a lot, and we may not be aware of that, which could be coming from the weakness in the core. So that brings me to two important questions, so I'll ask that one by one. So that means, perhaps Joseph Pilates must have thought about and understood these deep impacts, and certain guiding principles must be there for Pilates. So can we put some light? So rather than having those in pieces, let's put that.
Definitely. So I'm going to share my screen for the same, sir.
Yeah.
Hope so it is visible, sir.
Yeah, we need to just go to slideshow. Yeah.
So I'll just go in very brief about the discussion we had. What is Pilates? So Pilates is, founded and designed by Joseph Pilates. Earlier it was called as contrology, the study of control. So Pilates is more than the exercises, and the core is called as powerhouse because it runs the entire system. So our core should be, very well strengthened up, then only the whole body will work. So Pilates is important when you involve your brain and breathing. Breathing is most important part, as we did, do regular basis in yoga also. So breathing is one of the important key aspect along with the activation of the core. So Pilates basically create a balanced strength of your body. So it improves a balance between the muscles, and the strength automatically improves, which in turn leads to the increased flexibility. And when you practice the Pilates, you will really find it out, after 2 to 3 weeks of time, your energy is entirely different because, your core is strengthened up, your entire system, your posture is supported, your entire body physically, shoulder, neck, and all of the parts are, strengthened up, and you are very much alert and active. And it also relaxes your mind. Physical benefits, again, it increases the flexibility, improves your alignment, it increases your mobility of the joints a lot, and your problems reduces. It increases the circulation endurance, and damaged tissues are repaired because your strength is more. So organ has got more of circulation. It allows your mind to concentrate to that particular area. The oxygen reaching over that area is more, and it really increases your level of fitness also. Mental benefits, it improves your memory, it trains your brain, it causes superficial and deep both muscles activation. And if you practice it, you will find it out, your mind is so relaxed, your muscles are relaxed, the muscles are strengthened up, and you feel much good after doing all those things. So we were discussing about the principles. So we have got concentration, control, center, breathe, fluidity, precision, routine, and isolation. So I would like to give a brief description about all this. Concentration, again, whichever exercises you do it, whether you do a normal exercise, whether you do aerobics, you do yoga, you do any other kind of exercises, concentration is the most important component. That means while you are doing exercises, you should not have any phone nearby to you or some disturbances around you. You should be calm. While you're doing the exercises, your brain should concentrate which joint you are moving. So in Pilates also, when you activate your core, you tell your brain that I'm concentrating on my core muscles. So then you concentrate to that particular area. Then you tell your brain only to control that movement, because while doing Pilates, the movement cannot be very fast or very slow. So there is a rhythm which is happening, which is going slowly and gradually, and you have to maintain that rhythm, that speed, that frequency. You must not mismatch, in one go you're doing very fast and other go you're doing very slow. So it should be done in a rhythmic manner. So you control that movement with the help of your brain. So when we're talking about the center, that means you tell your brain that I'm activating your core. So there is a connection between your muscles and the brain, where you causes your powerhouse, which is called as the core, is concentrated towards that center. Then this is combined with the breathing. So when you do certain movements, like supposing you are raising your arm, so there is a movement we, breathe out while you're just raising your arm. When you take it down, you breathe in. That is combined with the activation of core. You activate your core, you breathe in, you breathe out. So when you breathe in, breathe out, so there is an activation of constant core muscles, and then you do those exercises.
So just
Fluidity.
here, Varun, like when you refer to the center, so are we referring to the core part of our body?
Yes, sir, definitely. When we're talking about the center, it is a core part only. So core of lumbar region or back region. So that is the center only.
Okay. So we've lost your voice, Varun. Dr. Varun, we've lost your voice. Azhar, can you check?
Yes. Great.
So that is important. That enhance your.
So Varun, in between we are losing your voice.
The fluid.
Varun, in between we are losing your voice.
Okay. Now, can you hear me properly, sir?
Yeah, we missed the last part.
Okay. So when we are talking about fluidity, so fluidity, I told there is a rhythm. So once you are just about to finish one set of exercise, there is a starting up of the next exercise. So there is a continuity of the exercises. Once you finishes off one, so again the other exercise starts. So there is a rhythm. So that rhythm has to be maintained so that your endurance of the muscles increases. So your strength increases and your endurance. So that fluidity, that means there is a flow of rhythm which is going in a continuous way. You will not stop in between for any exercise. So that is an important component which has to be taken care while doing the Pilates. Then when we are talking about the precision, so maybe like, when you're activating your core, you might need to do the exercise related to your shoulder or your neck or wherever. So again, you tell your brain, you do those movements precisely with a rhythmic manner, but you have to concentrate on those specific muscles. When you're telling your shoulder or neck, so that has to be very specific. The rest of the joints around it or muscles around it should not be able to perform the exercise. For example, when we have got some shoulder pain, so we try to raise our shoulder, but sometimes we do some accessory movement. So what happens? We turn our neck and then raise our shoulder, or we shrug our shoulder like this slowly and then we raise. So we are taking the help of either neck or shoulder or the other part of the joints. That should not be done. So we have to teach our brain, control our brain for the precision of this movement. So it has to be done in a specific way. A routine, of course, for every exercise, it has to be done in routine. If you will not do it, your muscle will not strengthen up, the core will not be activated, you will forget about everything. So that routine has to be mandatorily, to be done maybe 4 times a week or more than that. Also, you can do all those things. So that routine of exercise has to be done. Isolation is a similar concept when we are talking about precision. So the only thing is you find out that joint and then you work for that particular joint or the particular area. So you isolate that specific place and does not involve any other muscles around it which is helping. Though the body is a whole unit and it will work as a together only, but still you are going to concentrate on that specific muscle or the joint. So these are the basic principle which has to be taken care.
So wonderful. So just a small doubt here. So how do we differentiate 1 and 8, Varun, the concentration and the isolation part?
So when we're talking about the concentration and isolation, so concentration is like, when we're doing some exercise for example, our shoulder. Okay. So we are just telling our brain that we are going to work in a broader way to a particular area. That is the concentration I am just doing. But when we do tell your shoulder that we are going to raise it straight, not backward or this. When you tell your brain it is shoulder, shoulder involves multiple exercises, multiple movements. But when you isolate, no, I have to raise it straight. It should go straight. So that is the isolation. You tell your brain, I'm going to raise it straight. So that is a different thing, which is happening.
To enable impact on a very specific muscle, you mean to say?
Definitely. Even if if your body, you do not know the name of the muscle or something. So what do? You just tap on that muscle and tell. This is common for every exercise program. Like, the patient is not aware, but brain knows, okay, we have to do exercise of this muscle. So brain is aware. You see to that muscle and it is working because your brain is intelligent and you have tapped. So it is connected to your brain. Okay, done.
Great, wonderful. Good enough for the talk. I think, our audience, must be enjoying and understanding all the aspects, but it's time now we could hit the mat and, we could actually get people to understand practically how Pilates work. So you can take a minute and see if you can set your mat so that everyone is visible. Meanwhile, just a standing.
So before that, sir.
Yeah. You want to talk about core activation?
So I'll be taking 2 minutes for the preparing that mat. So I would like. Yeah. So I would like to explain them. This concept also, which is important over here.
Okay.
Core activation. So this concept I can just tell you here only. So the strong core helps your body to get strengthened up. I have already mentioned you. So basically, activation of core will stabilize your spine and the whole body. So what happens is when we are talking about the core activation, it is working on transverse abdominis muscle, which is to be activated. So I'll be telling you, it is one of the deepest muscle. How do you activate the core for the same? So I will tell you now. So what happens? It is a simple process. So when we are talking about the core, basically starts from diaphragm, and this is the waistline. Hope you are able to see everything.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So when we are talking about the transverse abdominis, what do you do? So you take this particular t-shirt wherever you have upwards. So use your 2 fingers. You are going to use 2 fingers and put it in your waistline, either in pants or pajamas, wherever.
Okay.
So this is almost going this way towards the inguinal region. So you place it over here inside the pajama. Okay. So what do? You breathe in, you breathe out. You breathe in, you breathe out. When you breathe out.
Can you highlight Varun while he's showing it?
What, sir?
I was asking Sharad, can we highlight Varun while you are showing the exercises?
So what we have to do is can we remove the screen and you could, for everyone could look at it more clearly, Varun?
Yeah, definitely, sir.
Yeah, we can cover these points as you speak separately. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you see it in a better way, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm showing you again. So what do? You just use your 2 fingers, put it inside your pajamas like this, in this shape. So you're placing it like this and this. So when you place it, you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out. So when you breathe out, you will feel a contraction which is happening to this particular position of your waistline. So here we have got our 2 bones which are prominent. We call to be ASIS of the pelvis. So at the waistline below your umbilicus level, so at the waist level, these 2 bones are there, and you put your fingers like this. You breathe in, breathe out. When you breathe out, you will feel a contraction over here. And then you can stop that contraction over here and you can breathe in and breathe out.
So this has to be done standing, I presume, Varun, or it can be done sitting also?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm asking you a question that, we have to do this standing only, or is there some other sitting posture also?
I'm not able to hear you.
Am I audible? Varun, am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible now.
Okay, so my question is simple, that when we're using the 2 fingers inside, putting over there, just around the and above the inguinal area. So can this be done while only standing, or there is some other sitting posture in which this can be also done?
Yeah, it can be done. So I have taught you in standing. I have taught you in this. You can do the same thing in the sitting also. But important thing, when you are learning this process, it has to be done in lying position. Now, what
Like,
happens when we are breathing in, breathing out? So the concept is when you breathe in, you breathe out. I have just showed you the contraction, but
okay,
you have not activated the core yet. So
yeah,
what do you do when you breathe in, breathe out? You are feeling the contraction. What do you do? The main concept is when you breathe in, breathe out, then you try to pull this particular area towards your spine. So you
yes,
give a contraction like this, and you
yes,
try to pull it, tuck it in towards your spine, and you will try to pull this particular portion up. So there is a contraction which is you breathe in, breathe out, give a contraction which is going towards
okay,
the spine, and you're trying
understood.
to pulling it up.
So
So
this is
that
somehow something
contraction
very,
helps.
okay, this is somehow something very, that movement is very simple, similar to what we do in Kapalbhati, somewhere
Yeah.
similar. Yes.
So
Okay.
definitely what happens when we do in Kapalbhati, so there is a rhythmic movement that you're doing regularly. But here,
Yes.
so that activation of core means you breathe in, you breathe out. So when you do the Kapalbhati, there is a contraction which is actually happening from the lower abdominal muscles. But you are
Yes.
going to create a pull towards your spine,
Yes.
and from your pelvic floor, you will lift it up. So now how you will learn this process? So this process can be learned in a way. So while you're urinating, you try to stop your urine. So
Okay.
when you try to stop your urine, you will feel a contraction of similar muscles which is going up. So that
Yes.
is the pelvic floor. So that will give you idea that how you have to going to contract the muscles of pelvic floor lifting. So you
Hmm.
do urinate, stop, urinate, stop, urinate, stop. So there is an activation which is happening. So you contract that muscle, the anterior to backward and lower to up, and then you try to hold it. So this practice has to be done holding that muscle for few seconds to 2 minutes to 3 minutes to 5 minutes. It is a habit. If you learn, this is the basic concept which we were talking about, activation of core. If
Okay.
you are able to do it, then rest of the exercise has to be done with the contraction along with the breathing technique, concentration, and then you do the rest of the exercise.
Okay, great, wonderful. So before Varun, you hit the mat and you start guiding people and giving instruction, are there certain things as a disclaimer you would like to share with people who might be coming with different physical and health backgrounds? What is your suggestion to them?
So I would like to, tell you, you might be having some back pain, neck pain, or different kind of problems, or pelvic related issues or anything else. So the important thing is, initially you must consult your physician, physiotherapist, Pilates trainer, orthopedic, or any of the healthcare professional or yoga professional before commencing all those things. If you're already having the problem, so you must ask them, like, I'm having this problem when it has to be started. Second thing, if it is a simple pain you're having in the back or some different areas, so you're going to have the cold fermentation or hot fermentation to that particular area for about 2 to 3 days or 4 days. Once the pain settles down for 30 to 40%, then you can start with the simple learning process of core activation. Don't do any exercise. You can perform the core activation with deep breathing. You do pranayam with core activation. So you just hold those muscles and then you do it. So specifically, it has to be done with the consultation only because it is some kind of specific exercise. Because if you will not do with the consultation, it might harm also. So it creates a harm also. So it has to be taken care. Then once you are approved that you can just do it, of course, definitely you can slowly and gradually progress to the exercise, the basic simple exercises. Then you can do all those exercises as well.
Great, wonderful. So I presume now everyone must be, really very desperate to see when Varun hits the mat and showcases us something, of how Pilates session would progress like.
So just give me a minute, sir. I'll be
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, sure. So as we have been noticing that, Dr. Varun guided us well related to Pilates and, how the core can be activated through Pilates, what are the different benefits, both mentally and physically that we actually get from such kind of exercises. We also could, for those who are practicing yoga, they might be also drawing certain similarities related to it. But then any exercise that we are doing, we need to understand the basic principles, which guide us for that. And for that reason, any precautions that need to be taken for any good exercise, whether it is yoga, whether it is aerobics or Pilates, please do follow that. Do follow the advice of your doctor. And along with practicing Pilates, there are a lot of activations which you do of your muscles, how you concentrate and focus on a specific muscle, that movement. That is something which can really enrich of what we are already actually doing. For those who are just coming here for seeking the knowledge part of it, it's very important that, pick up a mat and learn few things and see how you start benefiting. So over to you, Varun. And yeah, let's give it a start.
Okay. So again, we'll tell you the same concept of activation of core. So the important thing is you must have a relaxed, mat or gadda or whichever thing you have. If you are not able to perform on the mat, you can use bed also. Okay, so you can use a bed where you can perform these things on your bed as well. So what you do, the important thing is, again, the same process I've taught you. You breathe in, you breathe out, you try to tuck in, the same thing, and try to pull up your muscles, and you create a hold. So while creating hold, I am holding that muscle. You might not be able to, feel it, but I can feel it. So while holding that also, you can do pranayam as well. You do, anulom vilom, but my muscles are contracted. I'm not leaving that muscle. That means my core is activated and I'm getting tired. My muscles around, initially when you will start this activation, you will feel within few seconds, I can't do it. This is hurting, this is causing pain, discomfort, and all those things. Because engaging your core is very, very, very important component and difficult also initially when you learn it. So you breathe in, breathe out, and you contract it and hold it. So similar, simple, basic exercise I'm telling you, you can do this way also. You contract it. You can do simple, PT exercise where you raise your arm down. You can combine the things with breathing. When you're holding it, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. But again, it has to be done in a relaxed manner and it has to be done with the rhythm. You will not stop in between. It has to be done in a continuous way. Initially, you might lose the connection of the core activation. That's okay. Relax it. Maybe after 2 minutes, you try next time for 3 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 8 minutes. These are the basic things. So now, before starting up all those things,
the question here progressing. Is this active inhalation and active exhalation? Is it this?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
This is
and
active inhalation.
through nose and breathing out through mouth. Is that the standard practice?
So in physiotherapy, we do recommend that breathing in from the nose and breathing out from the mouth. So there are like two ways it will help. Sometimes the people are doing from nostrils, left side. They might feel difficulty either because of nasal dilatation or maybe some restriction in the nose because of sinuses or any other illnesses. So we do tell them, breathe in, breathe out. So when you are breathing out, we try to tell them to exhale maximally. Breathe out. So you empty this portion also, this portion also, so that the next air which you are breathing in should have more air than tidal volume. Your tidal volume is the basic volume. So when you breathe in, breathe out.
So you mean to say when we are exhaling through mouth, there is a better possibility that we'll be able to exhale more completely, and hence when the next take in,
right, sir,
inhalation.
Right. So when you breathe out, we tell our body also.
Okay.
So then next breath will be. So it is expanding. You are physically also helping.
So like what in yoga, we generally learn about the abdominal breathing, thoracic breathing, and clavicular breathing. So this exercise is helping at all the three levels?
Yes, sir. So it will really help. So in similar like yoga only, But the main concept is even if you do it 10 times, so it has to be done maximally breathing and maximally inhalation and exhalation, both processes. So this
Okay.
will really help your lung to get expand, the air entry would be better, the oxygenation would be better, the nutrition to the different organs definitely will be doing better if the oxygen is good. So that can be done and it will really help you.
So all I can understand is like what we do in yoga is the yogic breathing. So the impact could be similar of what you are suggesting.
Definitely. But what happens is, when you're doing yoga, so you're activating sympathetic and parasympathetic system. So when you're breathing in, breathing out. So here you're activating also, but with the other perspective, you're working on lungs. So both the perspectives are different, but common platform, common basic, same thing we are just doing it. But purpose is here is for the lungs more. There also the lungs are, working, but that is in synchrony with the sympathetic and parasympathetic activation.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. So that's the mental impact of, practicing what you're suggesting. Okay. So can we have some more exercises in Pilates?
So what happens? So you have to learn the simple, basic, simple sitting we use, normal in yoga also. You just learn the simple way to sit. That's the first thing that you're going to learn. So next similar thing which happens in yoga, you can just sit like cross leg like this also. This will help you, stretching your muscles as well. The other is cross leg the other way. Then you're going to learn all four
asanas, postures.
simple thing. All fours you're going to learn this way also, where you are just maintaining your body erect like this and just maintain it. It is just a preparatory movement. So you learn that way. Sit like this. Then you're going to lie down straight with the back relaxed. So you can learn the bridge exercise that will help you out. It is again a preparatory movement. Then you can raise your upper body this much. Again a preparatory movement.
And what should be the breath movement while we are doing this?
Sir, right now all these are preparatory movements. So we are doing isolation. So we are not activating core, we are not engaging our breath in this. But definitely every exercise, the basic concept is core activation. It has to be done initially before every exercise. Now, when you try to raise any of the body part, there should be exhalation, breathe out.
Okay.
When you perform the movement, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. So any of the movement when your joints are getting closer, supposedly when we try to bring the hands back, it has to be breathe out when we are going towards the core. So it has to be done, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Perfect.
So the basic concept is like core activation has to be done. You will not forget about it. Second, breathing has to be done. You will not forget about it. Relaxed manner, concentrating on your brain. Then you prepare yourself initially for 2-3 days, 4 days. Don't do these processes, together. You do the core activation, in a different part. Do deep breathing with some exercise. That's simple learning process, preparatory movements. So you can do differently 3 to 4 days, then combine together. When your body is ready, you combine together and then perform.
Okay, great. So for someone who wants
So
to
next would be,
can be the
you can
sequence.
raise one leg like this.
Yeah.
Breathe out. You can combine. Then one leg like this. Relax. You can raise both of your legs. Relax. All are preparatory movements. You can raise your body like this. Relax. Again, raise your body like this. Relax. You can raise both of your legs, both your arms together. Relax. Similar to yoga only, but core activation and breathing has to be done. Relax. Similarly, sideways you can lie down. One leg, this leg you're going to bend. The other one is straight. You breathe in, breathe out, hold, then relax. You can
And
use the other leg also.
during this
So
entire
here,
what is we are concentrating is the abdominal muscles, right? The core area.
definitely.
And how are we applying the principle of the isolation here?
So what happens whenever we are working for whichever muscle?
There is
Supposing if we're talking about the thigh muscle, the adductor muscle.
Yeah.
So what happens initially, we are activating our core. You hold that muscle. So you know that, tell your brain that you're going to lift this leg up. So you tap 1 or 2 times and tell your brain, I'm going to lift up. So you are isolating that particular area by tapping your hand. So you will do like this. So you are isolating that movement. That way, or your brain should be, you're that much relaxed and concentrating enough. You tell your brain, okay, I'm going to raise this leg like this.
Okay.
So that is the isolation process which we are doing.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that means, given the basic essence of what we really want to practice on, what we really want to pay attention on, these basic principles can be combined with any form of exercises that you're already doing, whether you're doing yoga postures or you're into, some other kind of aerobic exercises. You can apply the principles and get benefit out of the core activation, the breath integration, and guiding the brain so that you're able to isolate that part of the body and pay attention to it. Am I correct on that?
Right, definitely. So for myself, I say that I'm not able to do exercise, for example. So what I recommend is create the core activation. If you're in market, you are going around, you are inside the park, you are standing in the kitchen, or you're doing whichever work, activate your core and then work. So that is at least activating your core and helping you out. Somebody says, no, I don't have time of doing the exercises. But when you're contracting your abdominal muscles, you are activating your transverse abdominis, and then you're working your daily routine. For example, you're able to sustain for 5 minutes. So that is actually helping your pelvic floor, your back muscles to get strengthened up. Whichever, because either you're working in kitchen, you're driving, you're doing some writing work also, computer work also, breathe in, breathe out, tuck, and then you do it. You're walking inside the house, you do that. You're outside the house, do that. You're going to the market, do that. So your walk is, should have an inclusion of this particular part that you're activating your core.
Very interesting. So Varun, I have a question here. What generally happens in yoga, for those who are little intermediate to advanced practitioners, they may actually know that when we are applying bandhas, whether it is the Mool Bandh, Jalandhar Bandh or Udayan Bandh, we learn to disintegrate and isolate that part and be able to pay attention to it. So this is something similar to that. The question is that, when people are starting a practice and they are, trying to do the core activation, natural tendency is that the pelvic muscles also get contracted. So how do you suggest, they can isolate that part? Because anytime you're doing core activation, some kind of impact is coming on the pelvic. How should that pelvic thrust be maintained?
So the simple thing is, for example, again, there is a learning process, which is a difficult process. So what we do, for that particular portion, so there is an area between your anus and your groin area. Okay. So what we try to say for both males and females, we try to place both of our hands onto our groin area and pull it up. So when you pull it up and between the anus, so there is a particular distance of the muscle between the anus and your groin area or female groin area and this anus. So that in between area, you can use your 2 fingers. You place that finger, you lie down in this position, when we call it to be a bridging position, like this. Use your 2 fingers inside this and try to contract that area. When you will contract, your 2 fingers will go little bit inside, like this. So when you will do that, you will try to hold it. So when you will try to hold it, exactly you are working on pelvic diaphragm.
which is the second layer, or the urogenital diaphragm, which is the layer of pelvic floor. So you learn the pelvic activation. So along with the transverse abdominis, you hold it and contract it. When you will contract it, you will learn that process. It is a difficult process, but if you do simple, just above the anus, a finger or 1 inch above the anus, towards upward, towards this side, not below, towards this side, you just place your finger and contract it. When you will contract it, you will hold that particular area.
I can understand this could be somewhere a part of your intermediate and advanced, second part for the participants. Without going too much into detail on that, one thought that we have to understand here is people may need the right advice, guidance. They may need to approach you. We'll discuss during the end of the session how people can get in touch. Any specific benefits you suggest if we are doing that to health, to fitness?
About the pelvic floor?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to tell you, nowadays you might have seen the youngsters are having the problem that they are not able to conceive. They get married at the age of 20, 25, 30, 35. So I have been seeing people around me, my friend circle, or the people around us, they are not able to conceive. So what happens? Their pelvic floor muscles are becoming weaker, either male or female. So if the male pelvic floor is become weaker, so then they have some kind of sexual dysfunction, or their organs are not working properly, and similar thing happens with the females. So what happens? Because of this pelvic floor weakness, you would not realize your brain, your mind, your eyes, your neck can create a disbalance. You might have depression, you might not be happy, because if the pelvic floor is not happy, then your internal mind and body is never happy. Believe me. This is because you believe the system, it is a pouch which is maintaining your entire body. Pelvic floor is carrying all your organs, the urogenital organs, the body, everything is on the pelvic floor. And if it is weak, if it is sagging down, the entire system, the position of the organ, the position of the diaphragm, the position of the kidney, everything goes a bit down, a bit down. That means from whichever muscles, ligaments they are attached with, so there is a downward pressure. When there is a downward pressure that God has not created, that you yourself has created because of weakness. How the weakness has come? Because when you were young, you were playing around inside the park, you were just enjoying physically. Badminton, this, running, XYZ. Now you're sitting all the time at home, inside the car, you're not walking, you are not doing exercises, you are not doing physical activities. So with time, deconditioning of the muscle causes the prolapse. So nowadays the prolapse of organ is also common. So all these things create this thing, and then you're not able to conceive, you have got sexual dysfunction, you have got anxiety, you have got depression, your mind is not active, you are not happy. So this is one of the things which is the key functioning of the entire system. Pelvic floor should be happy, then only you are going to be happy.
Wonderful, excellent. Now I am reminded, Varun, of here two issues. One is, if you remember in one of the previous discussion we had, and I had asked you this question, the endocrine connection of Pilates. So I'm able to understand now, connect those dots, that if the pelvic thrust is not working properly, then the message over the top doesn't go right, and resultantly the right kind of hormones which need to be released from the system, they're not released, and that can bring the issues like anxiety, depression, and other things, maybe laziness, procrastination, all those things could be coming. And if we connect it with the yogic science, you can talk about the Mooladhara chakra. So if Mooladhara is not functioning fine, then you're not able to move up to the higher chakras and feel better. So I think that's a more and a different scientific perspective, which goes very much complementing both the science as well as the yogic concepts. So that's wonderful, excellent. So moving forward, Varun, because the people, those who are watching us, they're listening to the entire conversation for almost an hour with us now. They may want to know certain tips of how to integrate this into their routine practice for those who are already doing some physical exercises, whether yoga or aerobics or anything. So how to integrate?
Okay, so I would like to share, the same screen for the same, so that I can just, tell them.
Yeah, please.
So I'll be going,
So as you can see from this first slide, Dr. Varun, you may talk about certain things which they may be already doing commonly, preparing for the mat, how they begin their regular exercise regime, and they may be wearing something already comfortable, loose. So let's come to the integrating part. How do they integrate?
Right. So again, you can lie down. If you are not able to do it onto the floor, then we recommend you do onto the mat, which has got the firm mattress, and the area should be a clean area, and it should have a proper air supply to that particular area, and should be comfortable to you, and that space has to be created for you. So what to expect? Again, fluid transition here means the fluidity. There is a rhythmic thing which is happening. It should not be done in different, isolations. Once you have done this exercise, stop it and then do the other one. It has to be done with a rhythmic way, and you have to memorize the exercise. So these are the basic exercises. Learning the basic steps. So the basic steps, these are the preparatory movements. You have to just lie down. You have to just sit and hold. Again, it is a preparatory movement. Simple sitting down. I would say a Padmasana kind of thing.
Varun, can you correct your camera a little? Your upper part is getting cut.
Just a second.
Yeah, your camera.
Okay. So the similar thing, this exercise is again, these all are the preparatory movements. So this lateral breathing is again one of the important component in this Pilates only. You breathe in and breathe out. So you have to learn this process also, because while you breathe in, breathe out, so usually it happens we are not concentrating on the lower ribs part. So it has to breathe in, breathe out. So again, it is a preparatory movement. You lie down on your, it is a cobra pose also, you call that. But again, it is a preparatory movement, you do it. This is neutral pelvis. Neutral pelvis is basically what I would like to tell you. It is important also. While you're lying down, you lie down straight. And the important thing is there should be a curve which is created below your spine. So you lie down straight and try to arch your spine a bit. So there should be your hand which is moving inside your arch. So if your hand is able to move inside, that means you have got the neutral pelvis. So it is just a memorizing process, because it is a scientific term that you have to learn. Neutral pelvis. There should be an arch. You can see inside the screen also. This arch. That means your pelvis is neutral. So it is not anteriorly tilted, not posteriorly tilted. It is a neutral shape. If your back is flat, it does not have space. That means your pelvis is not neutral. So while doing this Pilates, neutral pelvis part is important. So sitting also, if you learn it lying down, then you can learn the same process in sitting down also. Then open your chest position. Again, simple. It is a preparatory movement. Opposition, preparatory movement. Pull your belly button to the spine. It is a part of activation of core. As I have already told you, just pull that part towards your back. Scoop your belly, 7C curve. Again, a preparatory movement. You are holding your, thighs and then holding. So you are preparing yourself for doing the Pilates exercises. This tabletop position I have already told you. Then this also I have already mentioned you. No, this I have not mentioned you, but you can do the similar Cobra pose, preparatory movements. Bringing your scapula, simple process. Now for the beginners, I've already mentioned you, so we'll be just going ahead. So all these exercises, which are the preparatory movement, has to be combined with the core activation and then breathing. So then these are the beginner exercises which you can do. Here you are just raising your legs up and you can make it down, up and down. So this is the initial movement that you learn, the basic way.
So
Because
here,
you're going-
are we isolating? Are we isolating the knees or are we isolating the core here?
So what happens, sir? Here is the combination of isolation. So we are going just little bit complicated. So here initially we activate our core. We are isolating first of all our shoulder over here and then
Yes.
our hip muscles.
Yes.
These are on the non-weight bearing positions, knees. So we are not isolating this, but this particular hip area is responsible for maintaining this position and shoulder. So we are isolating these two particular areas.
So are we doing it simultaneously or one after the other?
Simultaneously. Again, it is a process. You learn the basic process, then you combine it. So as you progresses to intermediate level and advanced level, then you have to isolate also different things and combine also. Your brain is telling the isolation. You have learned the process of isolation. Okay, I'm working here also, here also, here also. You know the contraction of that muscle, how it is to be done. You are not using rest of the muscle. It is a complicated process of learning that has to be learned. If you do it on regular basis, on routine basis, your mind is able to register it. This is the right process.
Okay, perfect. Excellent.
So now this is the watchdog position. Again, it is combined with a similar way only. Like, you breathe in, breathe out, activate your core, and then you perform these movements. This is half square, the similar thing. We already have been doing these exercises as yoga, as general exercises.
Yes.
Flexor hip stretch, it can be combined. So any of these exercises, these are the basic exercises. You can combine with breathing in, breathing out. You can place your hands. You can go ahead, you can go back, but there is an activation of core and breathing. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe
Very
in, breathe out. So you can combine this with your arms up also. You breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. But there is an activation of core and then you're performing it. So if you do all this process, by activating your core, these are not the simple exercise, these are the complicated exercise because you're creating a balance movement that has to be done in rhythm. So it creates literally it makes it difficult for you if you do perform these exercises. But that's why I'm suggesting you with consulting someone or the basic concept, you can go. So you do those preparatory movement initially so that your body is getting adapted to that, you're learning that process. Then gradually you add one exercise for the same. This already I mentioned you. This will help you, in the coming exercises. So these are the exercises which you will be doing it. Level
Okay.
1 program.
The
So,
level program.
yeah.
So you're taking this program at your center, the level 1?
Yes, sir. I'm taking this. This at my center.
Okay. And can this be taught online also, just for the interest of our audience? I'm asking this.
Sir, right now we are not doing it, but we can plan the same in coming days.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes. So this process I can teach you the basic one only. So again, for the intermediate level, the basic level is you learn this process. You breathe in, breathe out, activate your core. Breathe in, breathe out, activation of core. And you can start with a simple tabletop position. This is the basic exercise. One leg, then one leg. So if you wanted to increase it, you raise both of your legs with activation of your core and breathing. Breathe out. Breathe in.
Wow.
Breathe out. So it is not a basic exercise, it is an intermediate level. You can combine with your arms up, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. But if you're doing it as a basic level, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. You can combine with your arms also. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. For intermediate level, you can do the combination of this. You just bend your knees, breathe in, breathe out, contract your core, breathe out. Then you can combine with breathe out and breathe in. Like, you are going to do a cycling. So
Wonderful.
that you can combine with breathe out and breathe in. So this is a very difficult exercise if you do it. This is really making your back to get sternus strain which is coming to your back. You must not perform it till the time you are very much, adapted and acquiring the basic level. So you must not do this exercise. It is a difficult one.
Okay. So, Varun, what I could see is that, very beautifully you've covered all this. Thank you so much. Now, what I'm seeing here is, certain similarity with what we do in yoga, that is Uttan Padasana and also cycling and, the boat posture also, very similarity is drawn. And when we are doing it with breath integration, making it more dynamic with the breath, then a lot of impact comes on the core. And yes, that has been one of the exercises that have been, doing often. But then along with that, the challenges come that people who have certain problems in the back, then they start feeling that needling pain, which starts happening, as a result of prolonged practice, maybe 5 or 10 rounds. And after that, so what do you suggest? How should people restore that? Just lying down, relaxing, or what should one do?
So what happens is, in that case, I would suggest them to have the neural stretches. So what do you do? Neural stretches. I would like to show you. It is a simple stretching you do at home also.
Yeah.
So what do? You are sitting and you are pulling up your toes towards you.
Okay.
Okay, your toes towards you. The knees has to touch onto the floor. It has to touch.
Okay.
Just a second. I'll just go brief here. Also, you can see this exercise as well. The
Yes.
basic one. This is
Yes.
again, the combination of exercise. This I've already taught you. This can be combined.
Right.
This already I've mentioned. This can be done. It is a simple sitting and rotating exercise.
So you're covering this.
This exercise comes as a neural stretch.
Okay.
So what you do, your entire spine starting from your top of the head, this scalp fascia, हम सर की मालिश कराते हैं और हमें एकदम से अच्छा लगता है. Because scalp is a fascia which is connected to the body, it gives a neural stretch. So here, first you are sitting straight. So what you are causing, your entire spinal cord and brain is straight. The nerves attached over here are getting stretched. So when you're pulling your toes ankle towards you and your knee is straight and your body is scooping down, you are holding it here. So there is a stretch which comes from neck to whole spine to this particular area and you hold it there. So those people who are having numbness and tingling sensation, this is the basic exercises. This will help them out. The same thing when you just make it straight and you try to go forward, whichever you can. It is not necessarily that initially you are not able to do. Then you can bend your knees like this. Alti palti position. You start with this and going forward.
Very
then
good.
You straighten up your leg. Then you do it. Then you straighten up your leg further. Then you do it. Then you straighten it completely and sit. You try to sit only for 1 minute straight.
Okay.
Down. Then you will try to do it like this. 1, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Then you start holding it up.
Okay.
So it gives a stretch to your hamstring, to your entire back, to your hip muscles, to your neck muscles, and this problem will get better. So after this, then you do the breathing exercise that will help your core to get activated. You do some simple breathing exercises combined with core activation lying down. will really make a difference because your nerve has got the mobility, it has got now the flexibility, and it will improve and your numbness and tingling sensation gets better. Moreover, one more thing, the walk makes you much better, except you have got a canal stenosis. In canal stenosis of your spinal cord, with walk, the pain might get increased, but in rest of the situation for your back, numbness and tingling sensation, walk is the best exercise, and according to me, it is the best medicine.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Varun. You have covered all these points, so much in detail. I think, a lot of people who are watching us, they might be getting really very keen to get started with this practice. So I'll be getting back to you soon for what queries we are coming, and maybe you would want to share during the end of this presentation how people can get in touch with you. So one question that we need to address here is building consistency. So generally what we talk about, so for example, if I'm practicing yoga, then I have to practice it daily. This is what we talk about. We don't say there is a cheat day in yoga. Of course, people who are a little more casual in it, they might be having that habit. And even for aerobics or, people going to gym, they generally do, okay, fine, 3 days or 4 days are fine in a week. What is that you suggest for Pilates?
Sir, generally recommended. So you don't consider that you're doing a Pilates. Initially, you consider you are doing some simple exercises.
Okay.
Because when you think like that I am learning Pilates, your mind can give you stress. So the first and foremost thing is engage yourself. Get motivated. Allow yourself to get into some kind of exercise. That is the first thing. For basic thing, you can just do deep breathing. You can just do some simple stretches. Once your body is ready after a week or 10 days or 2 weeks of time, then you think like that, I'm going to work for Pilates. Then you learn the process of core activation. Then you learn the process of breathing engagement in that. And then you start yourself doing those exercises. Generally recommended. See, if you think so that 3 days a week will really make a difference to your life. So according to me, if take a suggestion, yes, it might not. But at least 4 to 5 days a week, खाना रोज खाते हैं, बाकी चीजें भी रोज करते हैं. So exercise में हम इतना ज्यादा क्यों करें? Because हमारी बॉडी का खाना, फिजिकल खाना जो है, वो एक्सरसाइज है. हमारे इंटरनल सिस्टम फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड्स के लिए तो आप खाना खा के एनर्जी दे देते हैं. एंड देन आपको अगर फिजिकली हमारी मसल्स को, जॉइंट्स को अगर काम करना है, उसके लिए एक्सरसाइज ही उसका खाना है. आप 2 दिन उसका खाना छोड़ दो, 5 days a week, तो at least you must do it. Because then only you are able to develop that strength, that stamina, that endurance in your body, and you are able to sustain it for longer time. क्योंकि आप अभी 5 दिन नहीं करेंगे, 3 दिन करेंगे, 3 से 2 पे आएंगे, 2 से 1 पे आएंगे और बंद कर देंगे. So it is better आप सोचो कि मुझे 5 की बजाय 6 दिन करना है. So at least 4 to 5 days a week is mandatory, and you must do it, and you must motivate yourself for doing all those things in your lifestyle.
Okay, great, excellent. So I think you've been able to address a lot of questions. Now, as people get more and more excited for getting to integrate in this practice, one learning that comes forward very clearly is that you should be in some kind of physical regime already to get Pilates integrated. So a very valid and important observation. Thank you, Varun, for this. And moving forward, the next steps is we would want to know from you that, people who are getting in touch with you will be sharing your presentation with those who are attending this session, and they may be getting in touch with you. So for those who want to come and learn physically somewhere, what are the options they have? And both online and on-site you can discuss. You're on mute. You're on mute.
No, so I could not hear you in the last few lines. Can you please repeat it?
I'm saying those who want to get in touch with you, they may want to learn online or on-site. Online, we might be able to, on this own very platform, we'll see that how we can make it possible to happen. But for those who may be wanting to build this kind of a routine, what is how they can reach out to you?
So in that situation, I would like to recommend we have got some. You want to consult me online also, we can do the consultation as well. So if you would like to learn the online, so then we can make a group of few people, and then we can do the similar process online as well. And if you wanted to consult me physically, so either they can meet me in Delhi or Faridabad, and probably when we are going to have.
We've lost your voice. We've lost your voice. Varun, we lost your voice.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Please. So I could not hear you again last.
Yeah, last we could not hear you. You were saying something. You're on mute right now.
Just a second, sir.
So I was saying,
they can connect with me either online or offline, both ways. So I am available at my clinic at Sarita and Faridabad, and online also we can conduct the sessions. If people are interested, we can have the online regular Pilates classes as well, and we can invite everyone in Jaipur also. We can have a date over there, so they can consult me physically also. We can just connect at Jaipur also.
Great, excellent. Thank you so much, Varun. That's really exciting and very encouraging. So that's it from my end, my dear friends, all those who have joined us this session and have stayed till the end. It's over to our Managing Director, Wing Commander VK Kala. So over to you, and I'm really glad for whatever Varun has been able to offer us.
Yeah, Varun, it has been amazing. At least for me, it was kind of an introductory class for Pilates. And Sharath, आपने सब इतने बढ़िया से final nuances को निकाला with your background of yoga. I think this became a very enriching session जितने भी हमारे listeners हैं उनके लिए. तो आप सबका वरुण बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. I'll just share my screen. Just give me a minute. Is my screen visible? Sharath, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible now, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So our key takeaways today has been we learned about Pilates, as also 8 principles जो उन्होंने बात करी. Right from concentration to control to we can go more into it as we do more sessions. We learned some basic exercises on Pilates and finer techniques about them. We got some tips to enhance strength and flexibility using Pilates. We understood physical, mental, and emotional benefits, and also a very important challenge that society is facing, that of procreation. A lot of people are having those kind of issues. So Pilates play a role there also, at least I was not aware. And we got some guidelines for integrating Pilates into our daily routine, how often you should do it, and make it part of your daily routine. जैसे हम खाना रोज खाते हैं, तो at least do exercises and include Pilates in it at least for a few days in a week. तो शरद, आपने इन सब चीजों के ऊपर इतने बढ़िया से सवाल पूछे डॉक्टर वरुण प्रताप सिंह को, और वरुण ने इतने बढ़िया से इनका आंसर किया. So thanks so much. Thank you both of you for bringing out the subject and finer points so nicely on it.
Kala sir, there is a question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Maybe we could take that.
Sure.
And that question is for how, so can a patient with stenosis do Pilates? Varun? Varun, we are not able to hear you.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, we can, Varun.
So yeah, definitely. Even if you have got a stenosis, you can do the Pilates as well. There is no problem. The only thing is, you are just going to consult to your physiotherapist or the Pilates trainer, because if you are doing some of the exercises which increases your pain, because if there is already a stenosis and you do some of the exercises which further stenose that area, your pain will increase. So you are going to consult with your therapist, physiotherapist, osteopath, or Pilates trainer, They will recommend you which exercise is to be performed, and then you can go ahead. There is no problem, and which again will really benefit you all, in your future.
Okay, great. Kalasa, there was a question from your end also. How long does one do preparatory movements?
Sir, for preparatory movements, I would recommend you 2 to 3 days initially. If you are regularly doing the exercises, and if you have not done the exercises, take 5 to 7 days of week, days for just performing those preparatory movements.
Thank you, Varun.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. और हमारे दर्शकों के लिए जैसा कि बताया गया कि कुछ भी करने से पहले अपने जो भी आपके एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, डॉक्टर्स हैं या फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट हैं, प्लीज कंसल्ट देम. डोंट जस्ट जोश में आके शुरू मत कीजिए, उसके परिणाम कई बार गलत भी हो सकते हैं. So just watch out for that. Our next program on 1st October is on apnea therapy and counseling. ये हम कर रहे हैं हमारे पार्टनर आई एम हैप्पीनेस के साथ में, और दिनांक 1 अक्टूबर, समय 11 बजे का. इसके लिए हम स्पीकर लेके आ रहे हैं इंटरनेशनल ट्रेंड काउंसलर, सर्टिफाइड hypnotherapist and life skills coach, Ms. Pratibha Pandya. So please join in on 1st of October. Then on 8th of October, we'll have first session on healthy joints and happy knees, replacement, rehabilitation, recovery. आप हमारे एक्सपर्ट से आज मिल ही चुके हैं, डॉक्टर वरुण प्रताप सिंह. 8 अक्टूबर, समय 11 बजे का. So please join in and benefit from Varun's pulse of knowledge. We also have volunteering opportunities at My Crack the Wellness Code Foundation. अभी हम लोग located हैं राजभवन के पास में, and we provide opportunities for internship as also for volunteering with us. अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट है वेलनेस में, अगर आप काम करना चाहते हो इंडिया में, अमेरिका में रह रहे लोगों के साथ में, अगर आप कंट्रीब्यूट करना चाहते हो सोसाइटी के वेलफेयर के लिए कुछ, और अपनी वेलनेस स्टोरी अगर आपने अपने आप को इम्प्रूव किया है, यू वेंट थ्रू सम मेजर प्रॉब्लम्स एंड यू ओवरकेम देम, तो वो भी आप हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके शेयर कर सकते हैं, जो कि और हमारे दर्शकों को एनकरेज करेगा कि भाई जब ये कर सकते हैं तो आप भी कर सकते हो. यू कैन कॉल अस ऑन 9511540335, या हमें लिख भी सकते हैं info@mycwcindia.com.org. So please call us, do write to us. We thank our strategic knowledge partners, IHMR and IS universities. We also want to thank our community partners who join us for every program. Then we have area development partners, corporate wellness partners, NGO partners and wellness partners. तो आप देख सकते हैं कितने सारे लोगों का सहयोग लगता है कोई भी एक प्रोग्राम आप तक लाने के लिए. We have our advisors in Mr. Aish Agarwal, Mr. Kamal Setia, and Mr. Vikram Karnawat. Our team of doctors, Dr. Sudhir Bhandari, Dr. Sheila Nambiar, Dr. Sunil Jain, Dr. Rashmi Jain, Dr. Chevi Mehra हमारी co-chairs हैं. Our pro bono partners, who help us in various professional requirements like accounts, IT, legal. So we want to thank all of them. These are some of the guys who bring in professional services and support us. So thank you, Haminder, Adi, and Jitin, and Arushi. Our ambassadors who help us spread our message, Mahir Pratap Sharma ji, Neeta Buchra ji, और मेरे जनरल CP सिंह साहब, आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Our management team, our founder Mr. Naren Bakshi, जिनकी स्टोरी आपने सुनी हमारे ओपनिंग वीडियो में. मैं विंग कमांडर काला, हमारे साथ वेरी सीनियर एजुकेशन पर्सन विक्रम रस्तोगी साहब. He advises on a day-to-day basis. Sharad Kamra ji से अभी आप मिले. He is again a yoga expert and excellent orator, जो हमने अभी देखा. Dr. Gargi Gopesh ji, Ruma Peters, Umardin और मोहम्मद अजरुद्दीन जी. ये सारी टीम हमारी जो मदद कर रही है सारे प्रोग्राम्स आप तक लाने के लिए. एक मंत्र जो मैं बार बार दोहराना चाहूंगा, हम अब तक सुनते थे कि we are what we eat. न्यू मंत्र जो हमें याद रखना है कि we are what we eat. Not only what we eat, उसका जब आप खाते हैं उसका फायदा जब तक नहीं होगा जब तक आपकी बॉडी उसको मेटाबोलाइज नहीं करेगी, उसके बाद एब्जॉर्ब नहीं करेगी, उसके बाद डिटॉक्स नहीं करेगी. So we have to remember that what you are is what you eat, what you metabolize, what you absorb, and ultimately जो भी आपने absorb करना है, जो waste material है, that also our body has to throw out. So all these are important for a healthy living. Once again, our next program on hypnotherapy and counseling, which we are doing with our partner I Am Happiness, 1 अक्टूबर समय 11 बजे हमारे एक्सपर्ट रहेंगी मिस प्रतिभा पांड्या. प्लीज डू ज्वाइन इन. दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सेशन. हिप्नोथेरेपी वैसे भी हम सबको बहुत इंटरेस्ट करना है कि होता क्या है, ये कैसे करते हैं लोग. सो डू ज्वाइन इन एंड टेक बेनिफिट फ्रॉम इट. यू कैन फॉलो अस ऑन यूट्यूब. कुछ लोगों का सवाल था कि आज का सेशन हमें रिकॉर्डिंग मिलेगी क्या. ये भी यूट्यूब के ऊपर जल्दी आएगा. एंड we'll also share the link with all participants who registered with us. You can see us on Facebook. You can join us on Instagram as also on LinkedIn. एक बार फिर से धन्यवाद डॉक्टर वरुण आपका, शरद आपका, बहुत बढ़िया से लाने के लिए सब चीजों को सामने, और हमारे सभी दर्शकों का कि आपने इतने पेशेंटली हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन को सुना. एंड वी होप दैट यू विल फॉलो सम ऑफ इट एंड बेनिफिट फ्रॉम इट. थैंक यू सो मच. माय क्रिक द वेलनेस कोड फाउंडेशन की तरफ से मैं विक्रमांड विद्याकांत काला आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं और विदा लेता हूं. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, everyone.